Welcome to the Collabo podcast. Thank you for listening. Okay, welcome to the Collabo podcast. Thank you for listening. I'm here, well, not really here. I'm on Zoom with Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hello, I'm also on Zoom with Richard. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Tom. So today we're going to talk about tourism. Do you like traveling, Tom?
Yeah, I do. I've been to, when I was younger, lots of places in Europe, India, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, South America, and lots of countries in between. Yes, I do.
Wow, you've traveled a lot.
Yeah.
Where would you like to go in the future?
Well, seeing as I'm in Japan, I'd like to visit the countries around this part of the world. So China, see the Great Wall of China. I'd like to go to Korea and eat spicy food, obviously.
Yeah.
Taiwan, Hong Kong. Oh, I've been to Hong Kong, but yes. And also, actually, I learned about La Tomatina in core English. I'd like to take part in that. Sounds like a fun festival.
Yeah, sounds good.
How about you? What do you think about traveling?
Well, like you, I enjoy traveling, and I think it's great. It can be very positive. We can get new experiences, go to new places. We can meet different people from different cultures, and we can try food that's too spicy for us, which is great. But tourism does have a negative side, and one thing that we need to think about is being responsible tourists or sustainable tourists. And before we can do that, we need to think about some of the damage that tourism can cause.
Yeah, okay. So what are the negative effects of tourism?
Well, the possible negative effects, there are actually quite a few. One example is the number of tourists visiting a place. For example, do you know Venice in Italy?
Venezia, yes, I do.
Yeah, Venezia. So it's got beautiful canals. So it's a really lovely place. The population of Venice, the amount of people that live there is very small, about 50,000 people. So it's the size of a small town. But do you know how many people visit every year, Tom?
No, I'm guessing a lot more.
Yeah, 35 million.
Wow.
35 million people visit that small place every year. And they cause a lot of problems. They come on these big ships, which can cause problems. And also there are so many of them that Venice is starting to sink.
Sink? You mean like disappear into the sea?
Yeah.
So is it going to disappear forever, maybe?
Well, maybe if the current rate of tourism continues, then maybe Venice will be destroyed. So that's a problem, right?
Wow. Yeah, it is definitely. What other problems can tourism cause?
Well, tourism can also damage the local cultural identity of a place.
How so?
Well, to satisfy the needs of tourists, sometimes the local people need to change the things that they usually sell, and this can have an impact on the food culture. For example, nowadays, anywhere you go, you could find McDonald's or KFC or Starbucks and other fast food chains. Often, when tourists visit a place, they're worried about the local food and they don't know the local places to go to eat. So tourists will often eat at McDonald's or KFC, places like that.
Yeah, I love McDonald's. I had in India, in McDonald's, I had the Maharaja burger and the samurai pork burger in McDonald's in Thailand, and the Prosperity burger in Singapore McDonald's. Yeah, the Magnificent in South McDonald's in South America. Yeah. How about you? What's your favorite international McDonald's?
Well, that's not the point. The point is that if tourists eat fast food from, say, McDonald's, then local restaurants can go out of business, or they're forced to change the kind of food that they make. So this can affect the local identity of a place. Instead of beautiful local, interesting local restaurants, we see a street full of McDonald's, KFC, and Starbucks. So that can affect the cultural identity of a place.
What about if you come to Japan, Moss Burger and Freshness Burger? They're local, they're Japanese, right? Are they okay?
I think you're missing the point, really, on the burger front.
uh, Burger King, Whoppers are good.
No, you really mustn't. Try not to eat so many burgers, Tom.
I will try. Anyway, are there any other reasons why tourism is bad?
Yeah, well, there are quite a few reasons, but pollution is one of them.
Right, yeah, from cars and buses, airplanes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely one kind of problem. The more we travel, the more we cause pollution, and air travel, so planes, is really, really bad. So when we take a plane, the gases from the plane go into the atmosphere and heat it up, and they can have a big impact on the climate and slowly heat the planet. So that's pretty bad. But there are other types of pollution as well.
For example, like what?
Well, if you get a lot of people going to one place, then we get more waste in that place. So, for example, plastic is a big problem. Um, uh, there are a lot of plastic water bottles, for example, or takeout food containers, different packaging, plastic bags. So tourists can use a lot of this plastic, and that can cause a big problem for places.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, plastic. Yeah, I can see how that's a big problem. What other types of problems are there?
Well, there's what's called light pollution from too much light. There's noise pollution from places getting noisy because of too many tourists. There's too much human waste sometimes in places. There's increasing crime, that can be a problem. There's tourists damaging local World Heritage sites. There are lots of other kinds of problems as well that are associated with tourism.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, there are lots of problems. But Richard,
Yes.
I like traveling. I like going on holiday. I want to visit all these, World Heritage sites, amazing places, some of the places we studied in core English. So you mentioned being a responsible or sustainable traveler. What should I do? How can I do that?
Well, there are lots of things we can do to reduce our impact. I think the number one thing is to avoid the plane, take the train. So air travel is very damaging to the planet. So if we can, we shouldn't really use planes. So take the train somewhere instead. For example, instead of going to Korea for a week of shopping and spicy food, you could go to Magome or Tsumago.
Tamago, where's that?
Oh, Tsumago. Didn't you listen to last week's podcast with Miyagawa Sensei, Tom? He talked about Magome and Tsumago last week.
Yeah, of course, yes. Amazing podcast and amazing guest.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else should I do?
Well, we talked about plastic being a problem. You should take a recyclable bottle with you so that you can take water in that. You should also take an eco bag or a my bag, they sometimes call them here. So in that way, you don't have to use plastic bags for the things that you buy. So those are just kind of the two ways that you could help.
That's a good idea. I never thought about doing that, like taking my own water bottle or my own eco bag when you're traveling. Obviously, you're going to buy things. So yeah, that's a good idea. Anything else?
Yeah, try to buy local products and local food because that supports the local economy. So if you go to Magome, and try some kurikinton or some of the local soba that they make up there, which is very nice. If you like that local food, you should take some home with you. Instead of going to Starbucks, go to a local coffee shop. Instead of going to KFC, try to eat some food from a local restaurant or a street stall, a yatai. You can do it, I'm sure.
Yes, I think, yeah, definitely I can do those things. But what if I want a Starbucks? Do I have to do all those things? Can I have a Starbucks sometimes, maybe?
Yeah, of course. You don't have to do all of those things, but I think it's a good idea to think about how to be better tourists, and just do a little bit each time to reduce our impact.
But can I still try the local McDonald's sometimes, please, Richard?
Well, you can, but try not to do it too often, and try not to do it when you're traveling if you possibly can.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Right. Yeah. Well, that's good things to think about. How to be a sustainable, responsible traveler. And yeah, matches one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, I think, to be a sustainable consumer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So we need to think about what we're doing and see if we can reduce our damage. I'm not suggesting you stop going on holiday, but maybe just try and do one or two things that would reduce the damage that you could cause.
Great. Anyway, I got to go. I'm booking my trips for this year, and I need to.
What? Where are you going?
So, I'm not sure. Somewhere very far that I can go on the plane.
So we're local, Tom. Go local. All right.
See you. Time I go.
All right. See you next week. Bye.
See you, Rich. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Collabo podcast. Please tune in next time.